Hello again, you guys. Oh my gosh, today is a very exciting day because I have some books to show you. Today is a book haul. For those of you who are new there, hello, my name is Jess. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to my side of this booktube world. Now, I'm really excited for today because I have quite a few books to show you that I've been collecting, piling up for the past couple of months, and I've been dying, like literally guys, dying to show you. And I'm pretty proud of myself because I feel like I have a lot of genres. I have romance, I have fantasy, I have horror, I think I maybe even have sci-fi. I feel like I have a bunch of books that will suit everyone's interest, and yeah, and I'm just really excited because some of these books I gathered because of book talk, because of other booktubers, just purely because I saw them in the bookstore and I thought, you know what, like I'm gonna do a book haul. So I've been waiting to show you guys, and I will say, like, I feel pretty comfortable that I have a big enough number of books to show you, because for the longest time I wanted to show you these and I always told myself like, no, like I don't have enough books, no one's gonna like them, it's gonna be boring, or it's gonna be a very quick episode. And now I feel perfectly situated and in proper placement to show you everything that I have. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, I'm super excited about this first one. It is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Now this cover is very unique. There is another cover that I kept seeing floating around and it was like white, it was very beautiful, it was very minimalistic looking, and the only place I saw it on was Amazon. But I got this in person at Barnes & Noble because I am a very impatient person and I don't like waiting for any Amazon orders. And I know that's like really weird, but I'm just like one of those few people that rarely order off of Amazon. But I do have this book. This is a series, and pardon you guys, like the lighting, first of all, the book is amazing. The cover is stunning, but it's glistening so much because it is sundown and I'm trying to show you guys. So I'm gonna hold it awkwardly like this. Apologies for that. But this book I don't know too much about. I know it's a series. I know Brandon Sanderson has a lot of books. I think he has a lot of series as well, and he's one of those authors that you either hate or you love. And I think honestly I'm gonna be on the team love side, because every single person that talks about him in this book series just they like romanticize it. So it seems like one of these very fantastical places where, if you don't know what this is, you know, right on board with me. This book is basically about a world that was taken over by an immortal emperor who I guess not a lot of people like. And I don't know if it's one person or it's multiple POVs that kind of just band together and are trying to take down the emperor. And so this is Mistborn. I think this is a trilogy. I could be wrong. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, you guys, but can't wait to read this. I would say this is more like fantasy. I don't know if this is sci-fi though. It might be a sci-fi just because of the way it looks. Honestly, it kind of looks like Magicians, but I would classify Magicians as fantasy sci-fi. So here you have it guys, the first book ever that I will read from Brandon Sanderson. Okay, up next we have a I think this is a YA contemporary fantasy book, and that is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Haro. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. First of all, let's just take a moment to look at this stunning cover. I actually gravitated towards this book in Barnes & Noble because of the cover. I thought it was very beautiful, and because the main character's name is January, which, by the way, if you hear some jingles and pitter patters, it's my dogs, Hercules and Calypso. You probably have seen them in other videos, but yeah, if you hear them, just ignore them. They always make like noise when I'm actually filming. Anyways, yes, I thought that this book was very stunning. Also, I thought it gave very like winter fall atmospheric vibes, just because the main POV, her name is January, and honestly that's a very beautiful name. I've never heard of a person named January. My best friend's name is Summer, so I guess it, you know, kind of correlates, kind of. But this book, all I know is that January is a ward of someone named Mr. Locke, just a very wealthy person in a mansion. And she kind of has a mundane life. You know, Mr. Locke doesn't treat her very well, and she doesn't really have anything to kind of like fill her day with, I'm assuming. And one day she finds a very strange book that just has a lot of doors that open to very fantastical and adventurous places where she finds, I think, you know, love. I think it said love. Yeah, love, adventure, and danger for the first time. January is being able to transport into another world. I think that sounds very beautiful. I wish I could do that sometimes. It kind of sounds like the Chronicles of Narnia where they entered the wardrobe, but I wonder if this is a type of like device or something fantastical or mystical that can either lead her to different places, or it's just one place that has like many things happening, but we'll see. Up next is my very first Colleen Hoover book. This is Ugly Love. I do have another one that I'm going to show you guys, but I wanted to show you this one first. Sorry guys, because this is the first book that I saw of her that was circulating on TikTok, and I'm kind of intimidated, I have to be honest, because there are a lot of people who have very harsh opinions about her writing style, and some of them find it very agreeable, some people don't. I'm really kind of nervous because I don't know where I land with her writing style, and I did buy another book on impulse, so I don't know, I'm kind of nervous to start this. But what I do know is that this book is going to be a very harsh romance filled with pain. That's what I'm gathering. It kind of reminds me of like Nicholas Spark books like The Notebook, but essentially we follow two characters. We follow Tate and Miles, who basically have a no strings attached relationship where they only have sex with each other, and they're pretty much just really physically attracted to one another, and everything seems to go well, except Miles kind of laid some ground rules. It's like, don't ask about the past and don't expect a future with me. I think we're gonna kind of see Tate crumble just a little bit because, of course, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be one of those books where she is starting to fall for Miles, and we kind of see how that affects their relationship together. So really interested, really intimidated, really kind of scared to start this book, just because I do want this to be my very first Colleen Hoover book to ever read. So, whew, you guys, this is, yeah, this kind of makes my heart pounce a little bit. As I mentioned before, I did buy another Colleen Hoover book, and that is It Ends With Us. Honestly, I don't know anything about this book. I picked this up on impulse when I bought Ugly Love, and I did not think twice about the synopsis. So yeah, here we are with that, and I did not look at the back. I kind of want to keep this as a surprise and keep it that way once I read Ugly Love and then finish it, because if I love it, then of course I will gravitate towards this book. Definitely read it. Oh, it kind of matches my outdated nails. That's kind of cute. Anyways, yes, I'm gonna keep this kind of surprise to myself. I'm really hoping that I love Colleen's writing style. I definitely know that she has more books out other than these two, and I'm pretty sure I'll devour them, but I'm assuming that this is going to be another hard relationship book. Okay, I have two books that I want to show you guys. I'm picking them up right now. So this is part of a series. I did read book number 1 already, and that is the Crave series. So we have Covet, gosh, the lighting is so bad, and we have Crush by Tracy Wolff. Now, I read Crave, I don't know, a couple months ago. I absolutely found it thrilling. It definitely reminds me of Twilight, as in it is a paranormal romance where we have a human who goes to a gothic boarding school in Alaska and meets a very ancient and old vampire. Definitely super slow burn, you guys. This is a YA series, so there's not a lot of obviously like smut or anything happening, but you can kind of get the idea of the quick and, okay, I wouldn't even say quick love happening, but it's very steamy, I would say. And like I said, it is a slow burn. There is a huge plot developing in the background, which I just absolutely adore. I wanted to read this as soon as I finished Crave, and I was supposed to read these with my friend Tasia, and she completely just like read through all of the books, I think, and I do believe Tracy has book 5 coming out, so I think this is already 5 books in, and I really need to catch up to my friend so we can talk about it, because I know she's been dying to talk about it. I've been dying to talk about them, even though I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, this is a great paranormal romance series if you're interested. Up next, we have a book that was highly, I would say, promoted by Books with Lala, and that is House of Leaves by Mark C. Daniel. So this is a horror book. I don't know too much about this, even though I watched her vlog when she was reading this. Even with that, I did not really understand what was happening, and this book scares me, to be honest. Not because it's a horror novel, but because of the way it's written. So first of all I know about this book is that there's a cabin in the woods, and it looks, you know, seemingly normal on the outside, but when you get into it, it's larger than expected, and I don't know if there's like any moving parts to it. I really don't know like what's to come out of this cabin. Even with her reading it, I was just like, what's happening? And she seemed confused too. The reason being is because this book is very interesting in the way it's written. There's a lot of footnotes, but sometimes these footnotes can be pages and pages long. There are pages where it only has a few words, maybe one sentence. Maybe you have to read, you know, around the book. Maybe you have to read upside down. There is a lot of moving pieces. As you can tell, see, I simply opened to one page and there's only like, what, one sentence? And then you go and then it looks ginormous with its text. And I really don't know what to expect with this book. I'm really excited. I wanted to kind of pick this up for my October TBR, but I didn't get to pick this one. So I'm really hoping that I can read this whenever I have time in October or maybe even November. I might have to pick it, and although it's long, it's literally almost the size of my head. This is absolutely massive, and it's quite frankly very heavy, but I'm nonetheless really entranced by it. And I do want to, like, oh my god, it's literally so heavy, guys. Like, this feels like a school book. But yeah, look at the way it flops. I love books like that. Oh, and it has a cool little like illustration. But yeah, this is House of Leaves. I definitely think you should pick it up, especially for the spooky season. Up next, we have a very spicy book, and that is none other than Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. So this will be my first Penelope Douglas book that I will have ever read, honestly. And this is very spicy. I've heard that it's very spicy, and I have seen some pages before with some spicy scenes, and yeah, I'm assuming that this is going to be either like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 straight chili peppers, like across the board. And I don't know too much about this book, I think, other than their pen pals. Yes, there are 2 pen pals. We have Ryan and Misha. We have Ryan and Misha. Gosh, that took longer than expected. Basically, they're pen pals for a very, very long time, since childhood, and they only had a few rules: no social media, no phone numbers, and no pictures. Well, Misha somehow finds Ryan's social media profile and just does some digging, and there's something that he doesn't like about Ryan, and Ryan of course doesn't know. So I really don't know how this book is gonna go. I don't know if they're gonna meet in person. I'm quite excited. Well, obviously they're gonna meet in person. This is spicy. I don't know why I just said that, but I'm really intrigued to see how they meet, why they meet, how Misha in the first place like found out about the social media profile. Maybe he was just very intrigued, I don't know, and to how this relationship is gonna go. But yes, this is Punk 57. Very, very popular on Book Talk. I have another spicy book for you guys, and that is none other than Neon Gods by Katie Robert. As you all know, I did finish Desperate Measures quite recently, and I did love it. I thought it was a very short book though, and this one, you guys, is a much longer book. And in this book, it is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and of course, like I said, this is chili pepper spices. So we're having, I don't know, I have 3 or 4 chili peppers, I'm assuming, is what we're gonna have with this book. And quite frankly, I'm very excited because I've never really read anything about Persephone. I don't even know if I've read anything really about Hades in like my education part of my life, and this will kind of be the first that I'm ever gonna read about them. I do know like the story of Hades and Persephone, but I'm really interested to see how they're told in this world and what their relationship means. You guys, I'm so excited about the next book that I'm going to be talking to you guys about, and that is The Heart Principle by Helen Hong. If you know me at all, you know that this series or this world is by far one of my most favorite, and Helen Hong's writing just literally just, oh my god, it soothes my soul. She is one of my favorite authors of literally all time, and this is the 3rd book, which is called The Heart Principle, and we follow, I don't remember the girl's name. Oh, Anna. So we follow Anna, but the main reason why I am already knowing that I'm gonna love this book is because of the guy, and his name is Quan. Now, if you never read the series, so we are introduced to Quan in the the 2nd book, The Bride Test, and I absolutely adore his character. I thought that he was very rich and very just passionate about his love for his family. And so I know automatically going into this that we're going to love him. And I do know that he has some faults, of course. We kind of get to know him, like I said, in the 2nd book. So I'm just like really interested to see how Anna and Quan are going to kind of develop a relationship. And if you don't know what this is, basically Anna's in a relationship with another person, and he decides that he wants an open relationship, and in response to that, she's like, you know what, I want one too, and the badder the men, the better. And of course, that's how she meets motorcyclist Quan, and we're just gonna basically see how their relationship kind of unfurls. And yeah, I can't wait to read this. I really honestly want to kind of drop everything just to read this, but I need to be patient with myself and do all the spooky vibes first, honestly. Then maybe after that, I'll pick up this book, because I can literally go through one of Helen Hong's books in a day. And that's saying something, because I'm a very slow reader, but I did do it with her 1st book and almost the 2nd one. So yeah, pick this up if you haven't already. Up next is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I hope I'm pronouncing Shelby's last name right. I apologize if I'm not. This book I honestly don't know anything about. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble because the cover was quite brilliant and very just, I mean, look at that. It's glowing with the sunlight. And I don't know too much about it other than that there's a witch and a witch hunter and they're married, and I think there's a war or a conflict of some sort either happening with them or the people around them. I'm not too sure. Quite frankly, this is a very huge book, so it does intimidate me because of that. And I do know that there's a second book that just came out, so I know that this is going to be a series, which I'm here for. I feel like I'm picking a lot of series, you guys, and a lot of thick books at the same time. So my poor TBR shelf is going to take a long time to get through, but that's totally fine. But yes, this is definitely giving me some fantastical vibes, very magic-esque. I wonder what kind of conflict or war we're going to see in this, and I wonder how the romance, if any, is going to be, because a witch and a witch hunter definitely seems like the worst match possible, but who knows. Up next is a book that I am finally excited to have on my TBR shelf, and that is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This book is very popular. I've seen this so many times on BookTube, and I just had to get my hands on it. This book is dark academia through and through. From what I have gathered, we follow 6 people who are really battling for their lives in a position in a secret society called the Alexandrian Society, where they will be caretakers of lost knowledge of ancient civilizations, which, how freaking fantastical does that even sound? I mean, if I knew about a place like this, if this was real, I would totally do what these people are doing. Yeah, they're fighting for the death and fighting for position. I don't know if, you know, if people are gonna die, who's gonna win, if multiple people are gonna win, but yeah, you guys, dark academia is right up my alley. I don't know how gruesome or gory this is gonna get. I don't know what type of magic, to be quite honest. I don't even know what the front of this even means, but nonetheless, I'm excited to get to this, especially during the spooky season. We have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy next. This book is very special to me for a few reasons. One, I heard about this book, well, I knew about this book, but I heard more about it from Emma, who is another YouTuber that I subscribe to. Honestly, I adore pretty much Emma and the way she romanticizes all of her books. And for some reason, when she talked about reading this book, it just really pulled at my heart in a way that not many other books do. And so I immediately had to pick it up just without another thought, basically. Now, this book I'm also proud of because this is my first Penguin Classics book that I've ever picked up without being in an academic setting. So like, I really want to read this book, even though it's super, super long. Now, this book was also written in Russian, and Penguin Classics translated it to English. And from what I've been seeing throughout Penguin Classics, and I think even Emma said that this was a more digestible book, so to speak. So you're not going to get frustrated, confused, or irritated as many classics that aren't written in English can be. So I'm really excited to read this version. And if you don't know what Anna Karenina is, we basically follow Anna, who is a beautiful socialite with a husband and a son, seemingly living the perfect life. However, of course, that's not true. She has needs that just haven't been fulfilled or met. And because of that, she meets Officer Count Vronsky, who ultimately changes her life for the good and for the worse. And this book kind of just unfolds and unravels what happens, the consequences when meeting him and developing a relationship with him, and obviously how her family, I'm assuming we'll find out. Honestly, when Emma was talking about this book, I was so scared of spoilers that I immediately picked up this book and just set it down and did not want to hear anything else about it, just because I want to kind of figure this out for myself. But yeah, this is Anna Karenina. Definitely excited that this is my first Penguin Classic book. Of course, I am intimidated because who else isn't by a classic? But yeah, if you haven't read this, I highly suggest you do, or look at Emma's channel, the way she talked about it. I mean, it was so mesmerizing. Up next, I have a very, very popular book, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I do know that this is a series, but before I get into anything, I just do want to look at this cover and just say how beautiful and brilliant the cover is. I know it's very simplistic, but I don't know, it just really catches your attention and kind of just draws the eye to like this section and including the crown, and I don't know, that just really gravitates me towards this book even more. And I don't know anything about this book really, other than that we follow a character, I think her name's Jude. Yes, Jude, who was basically taken away to the High Court of Fairy with her siblings, and she wants to have a place in the court. However, fairies don't really like humans, and especially the prince, whose name is Prince Cardan, who is the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. Yes, so don't really know anything else about this book other than that I think that there's a war going to be involved in this series, and that we're going to see kind of Jude kind of replace the feelings of the prince from hatred to love, but we'll see. The very last book that I have for you guys is an adult fantasy novel called The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Now, this book is an adult fantasy novel that has basically gained notoriety because a lot of people recently, I feel, including myself, haven't really been feeling YA fantasy novels, so to speak. We're kind of wanting something, I don't know, more of age, something where characters really feel like they're us, basically, so to speak. I am in my almost late 20s, and I definitely would like something a little bit more adultish, I guess that's the best way to say it. But all I know about this very long book is that we follow multiple POVs. We do have a queen. Her name is Queen Sabran the Ninth, who is in the house of Berethnet, who has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. She needs an heir to the throne, specifically a little girl, and I guess she's either having trouble doing so or she's trying to, but there are just a lot of people in this world that want to see her dead, basically, and to not rule this court. Now we have another character whose name is Eid Durian, who is an outsider at court. Now she is in the position of lady-in-waiting, which is a very high and established position in court, but she is also a part of a secret society of mages that basically are trying to keep the queen safe using forbidden magic, which no one really knows, not even the queen herself, I don't think. The last person we're following is Tane, or Tane, who is across the Dark Sea, and she has been training to ride dragons, which I think is very cool. If I'm being honest, you guys, I think this is the first book that I will have ever read with dragons. Now I know that that sounds kind of crazy, but let's be honest, I don't really read too much fantasy, and when I do, for some reason dragons aren't really a main concept in a book. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to read this. I have heard really great things, and one of the positives that I've heard other people say, but something that I really gravitated towards myself, is that this book, because it's long, a lot of people respect it, because a lot of people are tired of fantasies kind of being series. We want the beginning, middle, and end right then and there, and I heard that this book ties itself in a really nice and neat bow towards the end, and that the ending is very satisfying. So I can't really wait to read this book. I know it's long, just like literally all the other books that I have picked, but nonetheless, I can't wait to read it. Alright guys, that concludes today's haul. I really hope that you found something that really either sparks your interest or sparks joy back in reading if you're in a reading slump. I know, thankfully, that I haven't really been in a reading slump per se, and I'm really excited to kind of just like dive deep into all of these books and finish them as quickly as possible, even though I'm not knowing, maybe this is a subconscious thing, like I picked a lot of series and a lot of very thick books, which, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I have other books on my TBR shelf that I can kind of mix it up with. That way I don't overwhelm myself with all of these books. But other than that, you guys, I'm really excited. I'm very pleased with this haul. I hope you are too. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it. It really helps boost and support my channel so that other people like you yourself can watch this and find some inspiration. As always, don't forget to subscribe, especially if you want more content, and I'll always have my other social medias linked down below in case you want to follow me on other platforms. But yeah, you guys, with all of that being said, I really hope that you're having an awesome day. I hope you're reading just a really great fantasy or spooky novel for this October. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.